everyone, Ray Harber here. I've been telling you guys for a while now that I was going to make an instructional video talking about Neil Peart's 4-note grouping. So I decided to finally do that. Anyway, that little demo I did was from YYZ, obviously, but I wasn't playing with the song, it was just from memory. So anyway, the 4-note grouping is a riff that Neil Peart does. And he started doing it around the Permanent Waves era, I think. Maybe before that, but not as prominently. Not in as many as different ways that he does it now. And all it is it's literally what it is. It's a 4-note grouping. And what it is by itself is this. Sounds easy enough, right? And it is. It's just it's an easy riff. But the trick about it and what Neil does with that is how he uses that riff. He incorporates that in fills, just by itself. But what he does, it's really cool. And what made me helped me figure out some of his hardest fills is the fact that he does it in quick succession. Okay. And what I mean is, for example, like the end of YYZ, right before the big that fill right before that is in quick succession. It's like this. Okay, so now the key is you can't do it, you can't flam it like, you can't, that's more like a herta, whatever it's called. I'm not a rudiment guy, but I think a herta is more like, I'm sure some rudiment guys will correct me on that, but it's more. And like I said, I'm rehashing what he talked about in the work in progress video. The 4-note grouping is has more of a lilting feel to it, so it's not as staccato, if you will. For example, here's what if you'd play the herta type of grouping, it'd sound more like this. Okay, now here's what Neil's 4-note grouping sounds like, okay? So that's, it has more of a swing to it, and I don't really know technically what it is, but I know how it sounds, how it's supposed to be played, and how the right hand sounds separately from the left. And I'll show you right now. For example, that 4-note grouping with the right hand only sounds like this, okay? And you can hear it's a sequence of double strokes, really. So that's the right hand. Now, if you do that 4-note grouping, and this is what the left hand sounds like, and it's straight eighths. So, if you fuse those together, you get the 4-note grouping. All right. Now, the key to this riff is how what Neil is doing with it is how he plays it over time. Okay, so over a pulse, and he's done everything he could do with this riff. It's one of his favorite riffs, and it's one of my favorite riffs that he does. But like if you're playing over a straight 1/4-note pulse, it'd be something like this. He also does it as part of, he does some of his fills, he throws that in there where it's not just in quick succession. He throws it in like once or twice during fills. And for example, this is the fill, the famous fill in natural science, that really hard fill that he does. This is how he incorporates the 4-note grouping in that fill. I'm going to play it a little slower so you can hear it better. So this, when he goes to the tom, the first tom, it's the 4-note grouping. So it's real important not to play that like a flam. I mean, it's got to have that swing for it to have that feel that fill does. Okay, Neil uses that 4-note grouping twice in the fill for natural science, so it's like this. I'll show you, I'll stop and show you what the first time he uses it, and I'll show you the second time he uses it. Right there, see? And then right there. So after the psst, psst, that, so, all right. Other places he uses this riff in, all over the place. I mean, he does it all the time in Rush songs. And YYZ, like I was mentioning earlier, has it during the bass and drum solo section in the middle of YYZ. He uses that riff on the first fill that Neil does, okay? And it's really fast, and I always did it wrong too. I always just went. But as soon as I figured out that he uses that 4-note grouping in that fill, it became easier. And I realized that that's what he was doing, and that was the proper way to play it. So YYZ, this is the first fill of YYZ, okay? Again, I'm just playing it by ear, so. See, so that's really fast, but he's using that grouping with the accent, with the left hand and everything, so. That's it right there. Okay, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, he does it at the end of YYZ, where he goes across all the toms. Okay. Other examples of where he's